and they really sort of understood how to enable each other, especially when they brought on Heen and Blitz to shore up their weaknesses outside of the game. I think I'm going to take Liquid for this series, just because, yes, they didn't have the greatest group stage performance, but one of the weaknesses that Kuro's had in the past is sort of not the greatest endurance throughout like long tournaments, long days. But hey, group stage is over. He only has to play one best of 3 today.
That's a good point, actually. Cap, you were at Epicenter when these two clashed in the grand final. It was the end of the 29-game run at that particular final. So at NewBee, we're on a 29-game run. It's the record in Dota. It's never been beaten. Brand new thing for them as well. And then Liquid go and beat them. Is the same thing going to happen today?
I believe so. They haven't lost the series yet against NewBee. The most you could say is they tied in the 2-game series. So I think that Liquid will be able to take this, but it's going to be a very close match. NewBee are incredibly good at distributing farm. They're going to need all 5 members at their peak to be able to beat Liquid here.
Okay, thanks all 3 of you. We're going to head back inside the arena now. Back to the key arena for our draft, of course, to rejoin the Coddle Gang, who's stolen our desk.
And the desk feels good.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Hello everybody and welcome back. We're getting ready to hop into game number 1 of our second series of the day. It's Newbee versus Team Liquid. Back here at the drafting desk. It's a nice desk too, real good. I'm feeling comfortable here. I think we should stay. I am with Mr. Ben Merlini Woo. We got Black back once again, and now Waga has joined us. Welcome, gentlemen. Waga, we're about to hop into Liquid versus Newbee. Impressions about this matchup?
I just fear that Liquid, they need to be in their shape, right? We caught them at the end of the group stage when they got too old by a secret that had struggled against everyone else, and I just fear that Liquid, when they get out of their form, they might be caught by surprise, and then Newbee is a fearsome opponent.
Yeah. I think they won a TI after all, so we'll see. We already have the draft underway here, gentlemen. It looks like Liquid, with their first pick, snagged up another draft, another first pick Mirana. After banning, of course, the Wisp and the Drow, Newbee grab up the Bat Rider and then a Shadow Demon to pair it with.
Yeah, we've seen it commonly happen. Like, Bat Rider is just a really comfort hero for KP, but the Shadow Demon block pick after the Mirana was picked up, it's just like, goes just hand in hand with the hero. You can see Trigon really easily, you can gank really easily, you have just a ton of damage.
So this is already very different from Liquid. They had not picked Sinking yet in the group stage, and they haven't played it probably in the last few months that I've seen from them. And they've been running a lot of Alchemist, a lot of Death Prophet, just older style, which they came in second Manila with, but they've still been trying to ride that way. This is what got us here. Let's keep picking it. But now they're in the losers bracket. They have to change things up. They have to do what other teams have been doing.
I think it's a good understanding of the meta as well. Sanking has proven to be extremely useful. He's not that hard to implement in any different draft. Chain stunning with the Mirana is really, really strong. The AoE damage. And I feel Shadow Demon Disruption might not be so good. If you lead with anyone else, then he disrupts, then that gives him time to epicenter and jump in and destroy the target. So we'll see how it works here.
And like, one of the big problems Liquid had that we like spoke about as well is they just like drafted the same heroes over and over and over again, and now they actually change it up, and I think Newbee might be caught by surprise by the change of strats.
I think they might be trying to do more of like what eHome like to do with the Sinking and just fight all the time and have a reliable carry on their #1 position.
And whenever I see a Liquid draft nowadays and I don't see the Jarek's Earth Spirit considered whatsoever first pick, first ban, and he is regarded as one of the best, if not the best Earth Spirits on the planet, leads me to believe that hero is definitely dead and not in the meta. So we'll have to see what they pull out for him instead, unless it could be the Sand King, I suppose. I'm curious to see what they're going to be doing with it now that they got it already.
I mean, like, the position 4 Earth Spirit, it fell out a bit because it's just not as strong as it used to be, but occasionally you see it still like pop up like 3rd, 4th pick. It can still really like destroy the mid lane if you have an aggressive hero like a Quap, like a Puck, like heroes that Fata really likes. Even the SF that we haven't seen a lot recently, but Fata really likes that hero.
Or DP, that Fata,
DP, yeah.
That's a hero that can dive towers with, so then you can make use of the slow. The issue with Earth Spirit is that he just doesn't slow them for long enough. You need to dive hard. But I think this is going to be a core position Sanking, and as for Jarex, he has a lot of different heroes that he could be playing. And Nyx Assassin was not banned out as well. when you see a Batrider on Newbee, it just leads me to think that Nyx could be a good pick again.
They haven't addressed the bat in any sense. No. Vengeful Spirit, Oracle's been banned out. They haven't picked like a safe lane Jug, Lifestealer, Slark, like you guys mentioned. So I wonder if they're gonna actually draft anything to deal with it.
Do you think I know Jerax really likes to play Tusk as well, even though I personally think he's not a really good hero anymore. Do you guys think we could
bring it back, man?
I would love to see it, man. It's like not that good anymore.
I know he has
damage.
more tools than like Earth Spirit, but doesn't he also kind of need to do the same thing Earth Spirit does in the early part of the game, add pressure across the map? But I feel like we're in a meta where just mid laners are not easy to take down anymore.
Yeah, like everybody picks these like Mirana solo mid and Puck solo mid, all these like escape heroes, Alchemist that stand really far back. It's just really hard to gank mid lane because there was like the big change of the meta when suddenly everybody just played around middle and just want to gank the mid lane.
I don't think that Tusk is easy to run at all anymore. It's too volatile. If you fail your early game, you just fall behind and you do not have a mechanism to recover with.
Isn't volatility good though? That's what got MVP in the winners bracket semifinals. Same with Wings.
Yeah, but volatile, I much more believe in a Spirit Breaker or something that's unstoppable than a Tusk who's just really squishy and has to go in. That's the issue with him. Yes, he can avoid stuff, but if you fail, you instant die. Whereas if you fail a Spirit Breaker, you survive and you bash someone. That's the outcome.
I mean, I have to agree, like Tusk is not really a hero anymore. Yeah.
That's the best hero in the game right there, though.
Coddle?
Oh yeah.
Well, I like KP's Naga way better than the Coddle right there. What do you think about the Naga? Like they're usually when they pick that, they have like a safe lane Naga. They run it on support occasionally, but usually not.
Usually KP, yeah.
Yeah, usually KP on the safe lane, and then they go aggro tri lane and make sure that the Naga gets like a really easy lane and just free farms there.
Do you think any small part of that Coddle pick was a minor block pick? Could have been great on Newbee's side too, with Shadow Demon as a pairing and with Naga obviously on your team.
It could be a block pick, but also keeping in mind that when they pick Naga, they usually go aggressive tri lane. Coddle is an amazing defensive tri laner. Like if they really want to go aggressive against a Coddle, it's going to be really hard to pull off.
That's true.
And he's also super good at just pushing high ground and closing out the game. That's something that we see a lot of teams struggle with. And against the Shadow Demon Naga, we could get into that point where just endless waves of illusions dealing damage to you, everyone goes low. If you have an Aghanims on Coddle, he heals up your entire team, you keep pushing your tower, and you get the racks.
That heals, I think, even better than the mech.
It's crazy good.
Yeah.
It's really
And Blinding Light is super good against all these illusions too. They just won't hit your buildings anymore. It's like, what, 80% miss chance, I think?
Yep. Just got to be careful interacting it with a huge team fight. Something like Epicenter. You don't want to be overlapping Blinding Light people out and away from an Epicenter and lead to a fail of the week or something.
However, even if they win a team fight, they have no way to hit towers. Like Mirana, one of the worst heroes to hit towers as a core tanking as well. Like how are they actually going to do damage? We've seen like Fada play a lot of DK in the past, but they're going to need something like that if they want to be able to break high ground, or else face up against a Naga plus Shadow Demon late game.
Although with Liquid we have seen, like at Manila too, when they were like in the finals, the first game, they would just go Timber Core and then Ursa and like another hero that can't really hit towers, just like run at you. Like they've shown in the past they don't really care about hitting towers. They just want to like dominate the game and then just win by like a huge goal advantage. Like because if all enemy heroes are dead, no matter how fast you push, you will like be able to close it out eventually.
I don't know, against a Naga now, that can be a little risky.
It is gonna be tough. If she gets like a good game, I feel Liquid is gonna have a very hard time.
So what actually counters Naga? Aren't you a Naga player, Brian?
I am. Well, Kunkka is not one of the heroes usually.
Liquid, inspired by Matama Man's sailing video, go for the Kunkka. I like it.
Beautiful stuff. They have really good combinations again. When we see heroes like this, Kunkka, Mirana, Sand King, all of them chain so well. If you get one stun on the enemy, they might just get completely obliterated. But Newbee with this SD and Naga Siren can counter that. So I'm a little bit worried for Liquid because the draft they are going for, it might be hard to execute against Newbee.
I mean, that's what Liquid is really looking for, right? They have not picked a line or anything to deal with the illusions, so they really want to make sure they can shut that Naga down. They really want to kill her a lot, delay those item timings, and I think if Newbee can just weather the storm a bit, they're gonna have a really great time because they have no way whatsoever to kill the illusions right now.
And like Shadow Demon is really good versus Kunkka. Like if you try and kill Naga Siren, you're just gonna get disrupted. And then if you try and kill anyone else, Naga sleeps you. And Lifestealer is also pretty good versus heavy magic from them.
Ember Spirit.
Yeah, was just about to say there's not that many stunts on Newbee, so maybe a Storm, but Ember of course falls in the same category if there's not much to hold him down. And yeah, good luck playing Batrider and trying to grab the Ember Spirit easily in a team fight. He's jumping everywhere.
Liquid is gonna have a really hard time taking objectives though after a kill.
Yeah, but Newbee can just go for like a team fight support with silence. Like let's say Disrupt. And Disrupt is a very common pick with the Naga Siren. Drop it on the Ember Spirit. no saves. What are you going to do about that?
And Echo Trident is still really
Reserve
possible
time.
because before level 3, Ember is not a reliable setup at all for the Kunkka Torrent. So basically they just can like hope to spam them out of that lane if they really choose to go aggressive tri lane.
Ooh, final
Big
grab by
Assassin.
Newbee. Nyx Assassin to round things out. Can't help but feel like this could be a long one, gentlemen, but what's your impressions after seeing the full draft?
Definitely Newbee, I think.
I think Newbee definitely won the draft. It just feels like well-rounded compared to Liquid's.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think Newbee would have been even stronger with a Disruptor. I like that call, but Nyx probably will work as well. I think Newbee has a good draft.
We'll have to see how things do pan out. It looks like we're set and ready to go for game number 1 of Liquid versus Newbee. We'll send it over ringside to our casters. It's Odie, Pixel, and Draskell.
Thank you very much, Dakota. Here we have it, Newbee versus Team Liquid. We've seen the draft, Sandy. We're going to have some exciting stuff, some potential late-game action going on between these two titans at the moment. Meeting in the lower bracket, of course. As mentioned, this could have been a grand final matchup. Before TI, I think a lot of people would have pitched this as the grand final matchup. But we've got it here. We're ready to go. What do you think? Obviously, the panel unanimous with their decision. Do you agree or disagree? Who's got the edge here with the draft?
I think the Nyx last pick just destroys Liquid's entire team. Like, if you look at the way the Ember Spirit plays, you have Flame Guard. You can just be in Vendetta, you can pop Carapace, you stun him before he even can react, and then you get a free Impale. Sand King, you can stun him out of his Sandstorm because you have obviously Impale and Carapace does the same thing. You can do it to Coddle Blast, you can do it to Miranda Starstorm. It's like, this is probably one of the best games to be Nyx I think I've ever seen. So I am definitely favoring Newbee in the draft. I do think that there's some room for the Sand King to do work though, because in a lot of these fights you really only have like one form of initiation, and that's Newbee with a lasso and then having a Lifestealer inside of him, you know, the standard bomb. And then you're going to have this counter initiation from Sand King that we've seen in the past throughout TI6 just be completely devastating. So maybe that's what Liquid are looking to do.
Absolutely. And of course, talking about the Nyx pick as well, it's none other than Chuan going to be playing it. And Chuan, some of the games we've seen in the group stage, he's had some remarkable performances on the heroes like the Lion, the Disruptor, looking to set up. And Nyx Assassin kind of fits into that role as well. So we can expect to see a lot of stuff come out from Chuan.
Yeah, I'm hoping that he has a standout performance, because I do play a little bit of Nyx myself, and I enjoy watching the heroes. So looks like everything is going as expected. It's going to be the KP Naga. And Newbee, they have a very interesting lineup in the sense that they can fight pretty much at a very early stage in the game, as you see a little bit of skirmish here for the rune.
Absolutely, we see both teams eyeing up the top rune. Got the number advantage on Newbee, so they'll be able to secure it for KP. And indeed, as we get into the lanes, the setup at the moment, 2-1-2 coming out from Liquid, and the more orthodox lanes, by the looks of it, from Newbee. I mean, in terms of the lanes, you talked about the draft, you said you like what Newbee are doing. But overall, lane-wise, are we going to see a team come out with an edge?
Looking at the way it's shaping up right now, Black mentioned on the panel that you always want to give KP a pretty easy lane. I think against a Mirana, it shouldn't be too bad for him, as long as he gets to the bottle relatively uncontested. They're actually giving Chuan a 1v2, but I don't think that this lane... Oh, see a burrow here at top.
Already, looking for the aggression onto Kake. He's got a level of disruption. He's actually going to use it to hold back the SK. And that's actually going to keep himself alive now. Hao turning onto Kuroki. He's got another Tara, so Hao won't be able to chase it. But already we can see Liquid just piling on the dangers to that Disruptor, sorry, to the Shadows. And he's got to be careful in this lane, because anytime he comes close, once they've hit level 2, Kuroki and Mind Control, they can jump on that SD.
Yeah, it's a tremendous amount of damage they can do between the two of them, and it's only going to get worse. And because of the fact that it's a melee core farming against a Sand King, you know, Mind Control is eventually going to start getting points into Caustic, and that's going to make things even a bit more hairy. So Liquid, they have a bit of an advantage here in this top lane, and they definitely have more kill potential, but they need to be careful not to overextend.
Absolutely, and of course the way, as you said, with the bat from Newbee going straight into the jungle, and the fact you've got Chuan immediately on that bottom lane soaking at XP. If Liquid aren't able to punish the lanes heavily enough, then surely Newbee's just going to find more in terms of efficiency in this early game.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, Liquid just don't have really the heroes to contest. If you want to do this dual off lane and have Kuro sitting top, there's no way that he can reliably go contest Moo, and if he leaves, then I don't think Mind Control is going to be getting much either. The Shadow Demon will have a lot easier time zoning him out, and there's a sacrifice that they're going to have to make during the laning phase. They either choose to go stop the Batrider from getting farm, or they stay up here and try to keep the Lifestealer down. And right now, they're prioritizing the latter.
And in terms of Moo on the bat, getting a decent timing on the Blink Dagger, how hurtful is that going to be for Liquid's lineup? Are they going to be able to deal with a bat looking to make those initiations early on if it gets a decent timing?
I mean, it's definitely scary. An early Blink on a Batrider is going to be terrifying no matter what team composition you have. They do have X and an instant stun with the Sand King, But I mean, I'm assuming that Mind Control's Blink Dagger might be a little bit slower, just because Bat Jungle is extremely fast nowadays. You know, you can see him now, he's got like a triple stack going on. So I don't think his Blink Dagger time is going to be too off.
Top lane, going on to How. Actually already used the Rage, but Kaka, disruption to hold back Mind Control. Kuroki, still 6 seconds before he's got
it.
But the Torrent just needs to touch him, and Kuroki with the plays. In fact, they may find another Kaka. He's already used the disruption, is still on cooldown for 10, and no chance as Kuroki picks up a double kill in the top lane. The exact plays Liquid need during this laning stage to punish Newbee's decision of having that sole position in the jungle straight up.
That's the kill potential that we spoke of. When the heroes start getting levels, having extra points into Caustic especially.
Bottom lane, Tron in a bit of trouble. Does get the stun onto Timberman. TP's coming through. One more touch for the... Oh, can't quite get it off. Jarrett's couldn't quite find the last right click. Now, in fact, Move. He's looking for Jarrett. Jarrett spots the mana leak, but already Move with the damage. 3 steps, and Napalm can't quite do it. I'm not going to hold him back. It's like Move won't quite be able to find that Keeper of the Light kill. He's continuing to move over, but Jarrett's hiding in the trees. He's going to be fine, but already we can see very, very close to Illuminate. Move's got to be careful. He's out of mana. Let's see if he sticks around in the lane for a little bit. As Twan can tag team back to base. Looks like that's going to be the case. Still top lane, Kuroki and Mind Control keeping the pressure onto How. And we can see CS-wise Mind Control keeping himself comparable easily with the lifestealer. 13 for 0 on How, 12 for 5 on Mind Control. So this top lane, it's looking pretty good for Liquid.
This is kind of the shining hope of their game plan. I think that Newbee, like during the mid-late game, probably still have a slight advantage, but if they can crush this lane and they get the really early Blink Dagger on Mind Control, the dynamic of the game can be completely turned around, because middle lane is more or less a wash. Like the Naga's out farming a little bit in regards to Fata, but we talk about all the time Mirana's base damage isn't necessarily great. You know, he even has a regen KP, so he's going to have a extremely easy time here. And Mind Control just doesn't really have much to fear in top. If they disrupt him, the follow-up is a lifestealer. That's not really the most threatening thing in the world when you can just burrow strike away.
Absolutely, and he's got a Mango as well, just in case the mana's short, and still holding on to a Salve, so a lot of sustain in that top lane. And indeed, it's going to be hard for Newbee to punish that, at least until we see Mu get that timing on the Bat Rider Blink Dagger. Mid lane, matchup we've not really talked too much about, but it seems to be even Stevens at the moment. 26 for 4 on KP, over on Fada's Mirana, 23 for 6. So not much difference there. In fact, KP just going to head back into the jungle and choose to clear up some of the jungle camps. And so, of course, it's going to give a bit more lane for Fada in the mid lane to continue this very good start when it comes to CS. In top lane, they're looking for anything here. We could see the two of them moving close to How, making sure it doesn't disrupt this side pool too much. Looks like How's going to be able to play it careful enough, and we can see the positioning of the Shadow Demon just behind How in case he needs some backup. And the bottom lane is turned into a bit of a 2-on-2. Looks like Moose started to cement himself down here with Twan, realizing that a little bit of pressure needs to be put on the Timberman, who, as we can see at the moment, top of the CS on his Ember Spirit.
It's still a relatively hard kill for them. The Timberman more or less needs to make a mistake if he's going to be dropping in this lane. My biggest concern still for Newbee is the fact that Mind Control is just getting a ridiculous amount out of his lane. He's already up to 800 gold. He could go for Arcanes and probably still have a pretty decent blink timing at this rate. He's just farming so much to cost him.
He's going to try and go on him, but as we can see, just Burrow strikes away. It's a kill that Newbee are going to have a lot of trouble trying to get with these two heroes. Mind Control more than okay. And he's going to be able to remain in lane and keep that pressure on. Look at the question is, where do we start to see things turn again? Well, Tom, how? Look at the one, taking a fair bit of damage, still has the rage and open wounds. But Liquid getting the harassment in. There's been a rotation from Fada. We'll see if he can set anything up. The Torrent! Oh, it's beautiful onto 2. Mind Control comes in with a rage from Al. Looking to turn it around, but he's already taken down. Now the Pikaka as well. They're going to find a second kill. This rotation from Fada on the Mirana doing absolute wonders. And Kuroki, X-Mount Torrent onto Twan. The Burrow Strike won't quite catch the Nyx. So they won't kill off Twan. But a great rotation from Fada, making sure that this top lane goes from strength to strength. All 4 kills for the side of Liquid happening up on this safe lane from Newbee.
These torrents have been on point from Kuro, like setting up those kills. This is exactly the start that Liquid needs. They need to play fast tempo, force Newbee into an uncomfortable position. They're playing against a Naga Siren. They're playing against a very good mid game from the side of Newbee once Mu gets that Blink Dagger going.
He's got to be careful if Kuroki comes across. He's very low. Looks like he will indeed back up away from Kuroki. I mean, as you said, this fast tempo from Liquid that they are forcing, how do you recover from this if you're a newbie? Or do you just look at the fact that whilst this is all going along on the top lane, KP's getting a fair bit of space on the Naga. He's pretty much been interrupted for the first 7 minutes.
I mean, he is hitting a good amount of creeps, but his Radiance timing is still going to be, you know, post 15 minutes, most likely, at this rate, because he's only sitting at about 1,000 gold right now. So I would be a little bit uncomfortable if I were newbie. Now we're going to eat a stun here, but should be okay.
And we can see that Bottle has come up top as well. 3 of them on the side of Liquid. Derax, mind control. I've already been getting it on. Needs a bit of help. The Torrent gonna come out, but Hal still with the rage. Brings himself in, jumps himself out. Mind control coming back in with the burst strike. Now the TP in from Sparta. They'll look to punish Hal. He's got no rage and he's got no hurt. Liquid again outplaying Newbee on this top lane.
That was such a good bait from Mind Control, like just waiting it out, realizing that he didn't want to stun on top of that to force how to overcommit and just buy time for bot to CP. That's the kind of teamwork that Liquid have always had the potential of executing, but it just seems like now, even changing their game plan a bit, they just know exactly what they need to do.
5-0 at the moment for Liquid. A very, very strong start indeed. I mean, just looking at the comparison between the off-laners and the safe laners, about 1k in each terms when it comes between Mind Control and, of course, Hal and Matumbamat. Mind Control being eyed up, but should be fine. He's got Burrow Strike available. Actually, there's going to be 3 coming in. And still, it's a kill that's very hard for Newbee to get, and to have the lockdown onto someone like the Sanctions, he's able to walk around them every time.
There's not really a tremendous amount of catch until the Nyx starts to get levels. Like, ideally, you want the Nyx to have level 6 Arcane's Blink. That's like his core. Once he has those, he can be very disruptive. But because of the fact that Chuan started in the offlane and then transitioned out of it very quickly, he didn't really get as many early levels as I was kind of expecting. So he just hit level 5 right now, and he still needs a little bit more time before he has enough for the Arcanes. He can start contributing to the team.
And this smoke from Liquid, it looks like they, well, I think they'll be happy with whoever they find, but obviously KP being off the map for quite a bit. Naga would be a nice pick. They may just look to go for Hao again as they make a beeline for the top lane. He's on his own at the moment. No backup. And see how Hao plays around this one. Liquid closing in. The Lifestealer in trouble. They just need the Torrent to begin it. Moonlight to allow them to close the gap even more. Hao, yeah, immediately going for the Rage CP. No messing around. And of course, no chance for Liquid to cancel that through the magic immunity as Hao's out. On top lane, Sparta might just go for this arrow. Star Storm, not quite enough damage. Spooky Moon nonetheless. That bottom lane's where they could have given. They continue to try and make a jump in, but Tunaman's got to be careful. 3 heroes here. And that's a look for Chuan. Oh, Mind Control gets the ball. And Liquid again finding another kill. This time, Newbee had 3 heroes in the area, but they were unable to do anything against the heroes that Liquid have and the way that they're playing at this stage of the game.
Chuan held on to his stun for a very, very long time, which means that he ended up getting Searing Chains cast on him, and that more or less just results in his death. So a little bit of a misplay there by the Nyx, but still Liquid are just, they're rolling in this laning phase. So they have all the control in the world. They're reacting very quickly to any gank. It's been all Liquid so far here in the first 10 minutes.
Dire's bottom tower is under
They need to
attack.
take this tier 1 as well down bottom, and of course Newbee not going to react to that. They've got to let it go in this stage. Top lane, Mind Control, hanging around with Hao. Hao does have move on the bed in the sidelines, but already moving away, knowing that they can't close the gap and get the catch onto this Sanking at this stage. But lots of money indeed on the cause of Liquid. It's the exact start that they were hoping for, and when it comes down to a draft like this, it's the start that they need when they run this kind of team.
Absolutely. The amount of control that they have over the game is about where it needs to be. You know, getting the offlane tower is great. They're not necessarily amazing at hitting buildings, but they're very good at playing aggressive and getting kills. And sometimes that's all you need to be able to apply pressure to a team like Newbee. So for now, they're executing their game plan. Having that boat available on the Kunkka is going to be amazing. Like, you land an arrow into a Torrent boat, that's just like a guaranteed kill. A Torrent into an arrow is obviously good too. And at this point, you know, KP doesn't even have Song, so if somebody gets initiated on, they're pretty much dead.
And I guess at this point for Newbee, you just have to let Liquid take these outer towers.
Yeah, I don't think you can fight this.
Yeah.
You're really waiting for the heroes to get level 6, like the Shadow Demon, for example. I think Chuan just did it a little while ago, so I think we could start to see him move around a bit. And then obviously you're going to want the Naga to just farm up the Radiance. I'm not really finding a whole lot of things that Newbee can do to stop this aggression right now. Like, they really need Batrider Blink as well. That's another thing. Like, Muzo, he's at 1500 gold, and then, you know, he gets the Blink Dagger. Maybe they go for a smoke with a Lifestealer and try to get a pick off and, like, regain control. but for now I feel like that's kind of their only option unless Chuan is able to find something on the Nyx.
And of course, a lot resting on KP to get that Radiance out. 2700 on his road towards the Relic. And as you said, a lot of eyes on Chuan to start making some movements, making some plays happen, as he's about to reach onto level 7. And then at that stage, I mean, are you then still waiting for the Blink Lasso as well, or can Chuan start to roam around the map, look to set things up on his own, or does he rely on having Move's presence as well?
Well, if he moves around on his own now, he's really only going to be getting information. If he has teammates, though, they can definitely try to score kills that way. They do have a lane ward top, so they pretty much see all of Liquid's heroes. This could be an opportunity for them.
I'm talking about Blink Daggers. Mind Control's just picked him up, jumps in, flips onto Moo. The arrow's going to be off the mark. Chuan coming in, and he's got a How inside. Oh, they've got a sentry down though, Liquid. They'll spot him out. He's keeping Chuan back. Making sure he can't make the jump, and he's actually out of mana, stunning himself up, and Liquid surrounding the Nyx assassin up, take him down. How's inside. They immediately go for the Raid TP, but they might have the damage to kill him low. Not quite. Now gets out. Kaka, he's not going to be as lucky though, as the Torrent comes in. Liquid surround the Shadow Demon. A killing spree for Fodder on his Mirana at this stage of the game. And just remarkable play off the back of this laning stage from Liquid, as they'll turn this push into another Tier 1 tower at the top. And we could just see on the network how it's so poor this game at the moment on Lifestealer. He's only just above Kuroki's Kunkka.
His lane was heavily contested, and there wasn't really anything that Newbee could do about it. Nyx is just not a good lane support. KP though.
Epi's coming out, the Torrent, the Forest, well, it's perfect! Liquid again! Kill after kill after kill, and Move. Is he going to be lucky enough to get away? Looks like they're just going to hold him back. They've got nothing left in the tank to throw at him. Top lane, How? He's on his own. How's got the Rage, but TP's on cooldown. This little escape for How. Hit the arrow. It's going to be juked off by the Rage. It's going to continue to run. Liquid, how heavy do they want to go on this? Not too heavy with the TP's coming in fact, but Timmerman. Oh! Remnants away just in time. But Newbee, they just can't quite get the bite onto Liquid. They're just one step ahead of them every time.
That was a really big misplay by Chuan. That's the second time he just holds onto his spell for a little bit too long. That should have been a guaranteed stun. That stun results in a kill, and a kill on one of the more important heroes on the side of Liquid. So I'm not sure if he's just not familiar with the hero. Stun
KP. Oh, it's a good job he doesn't go down there. Look at his gold. He just had enough for Relic.
Well, he died when he had 3,900 earlier and lost like 300.
If he went down again, that would have been really, really bad for the Naga. But he picks up the Relic. First hurdle has been jumped.
As bad as this looks for Newbee, there still are opportunities for them to come back just because of that. Things like Batrider Blink, Naga delaying the game once the Radiance is done. But this is not going anywhere near according to plan for them. The safe lane got pressured way too hard. They weren't really able to react to it because Nyx is not that kind of hero who rotates until a little bit later. He's a bit of a greedier lane hero. So Liquid just punished it like unbelievably hard.
Absolutely. And I mean, just looking at the comparison, I know we've drawn it up before. But Kuroki and How, I mean, you know it's a bad game when the support Kunkka's nearly got phase armlet before the Lifestealer.
It ain't great. It's probably, this is a Lanham Kunkka right now, you know? He always just has a tremendous amount of...
How beat him, but only just. Kuroki, I think he's just just about a couple hundred away from the recipe. He's got the rest on Courier. So very close between the two of them.
I'm glad to see them integrating different heroes into the lineup now and playing a very heavy, aggressive style. Seems to do very well against what Newbee have in the early game. Because, I mean, Nyx, he's an okay 1v1 laner and whatnot, but you're not going to see, like, Nyx TPing around the map very often at low levels and trying to make plays or anything like that. So Liquid just know that they can pressure the lanes as hard as they want.
Mentioning fast timings as well. Fodder with the 16-minute Aghanim's on Mirana. This is going to be pretty devastating if they can get a jump onto Newbee. Newbee are playing it a lot more safe now, keeping themselves right in the jungle. Already moving in under cover of Matumbaman's inventory. He may be able to set something up here. Scan from Liquid's going to confirm the suspicions that Newbee are around in the neighborhood. Moonlight as well. They're going to look to set up onto How, but they've got a sentry down, and How immediately rages in reaction. Backs away. See how deep Liquid want to go. Matumbaman, he's moving forward for this. The arrow will connect onto Tron. How jumps inside, but it may not be a safe vessel move. Goes for the lasso. Now coming back out, but again, the entry. Look, they're in so much trouble here. They've lost Moo. Hal's got to get the hell out of there. Tron, it looks like he will be lucky enough to TP out as well. It's a good song from KP. Allows 2 to get away, but it's not going to save himself. KP gone down. Kuroki actually had it to bring back Chuan. 3 dead on Newbee. It's 12-0. 17 minutes in. Liquid looking like absolute championship material this game.
KP is regretting his decision so much there to try to save his teammates. Like, he pops Song, gives him enough time to be able to escape, saw the X coming out from Kuro, and then all of a sudden he just loses his own life because of it, and that's just more gold lost, delaying the Radiance even more. Not a single kill for Newbee. Like, Liquid, they are just playing so well this game.
This is absolutely remarkable stuff at the moment from a team that did struggle, of course, off the back of the group stages, coming through the lower bracket, going up against Na'Vi, moving forth on that one, but now against Newbee, it's certainly on paper looked to be the tougher challenge, but already in game 1, Liquid with a very convincing start to the series, 18 minutes in, and as you said, Newbee yet to be able to even make a dent in the armor of Liquid's lineup.
Still some Dota left to be played here. I think the one shortcoming in Liquid's lineup is they're not really great at killing Roshan. So it's still going to take, I think, a little while for them to breach tier 3s, and there's always an opportunity for a Bat Rider Lasso, pull somebody into base, or, you know, Naga Siren eventually gets to that Radiance and can start pushing out lanes a bit. The only problem is that Liquid have a ridiculous amount of wave players. So they have Ags Mirana, they have an Ember Spirit, Caustic with the Sand King, and a Keeper. So they can push waves like nobody's freaking business, and that is not really a great thing when you're playing from behind as Naga. You want at least 1 or 2 lanes to be pushed out all the time. I'm kind of thinking to myself that Liquid are more or less going to have to make a mistake right now if Newbee want to make a comeback.
Mid lane, looks like Liquid have got eyes on making a play, but Newbee already moving themselves away. One thing, of course, as well, with the lineup the Liquid's got, they can keep all of the lanes pressured in so well. Just using the Ember Spirit in combination with the X March from Kunkka, they can just control all the lanes and always be in the right place for the right fight at the right time. Moving down towards the bottom, Newbee, back away.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And still, the lead continues for Liquid. I mean, what is the best play for Newbee here? Is it just on getting the space for KP so he can push the lanes back out, keep the game going, and get this to a timer that the heroes of Newbee are going to really come online? But as I say that, I mean, Liquid, they're not going to be too shabby in the late game either, if Newbee are able to extend the game.
No, their late game isn't necessarily even that bad. This Chuan looks like he was going with a Lifestealer and Fest to try to go for a kill. And I don't think they're going to be able to find anything. Oh, who's going to find him?
Jarks. Ooh. Brings Father in, and immediately Newbee forced back. They're being very careful at the moment, Newbee. They know that they really can't afford to lose another fight. 20 minutes in, with the game being in the state as it is.
Liquid are doing a very good job of not getting caught out by either the Bat Rider or the Nyx combination, because Lifestealer can be just infested into either one. And if one of the supports are isolated, they can get picked off, and that just gives Newbee a little bit of map control. So Liquid have not given up a thing. Like, they are just standing firm. We're not going to give away a pick. We're not going to let you reestablish that map control. We're just going to continually apply pressure until you break.
And of course, Liquid just realizing how strong they are as the full 5-man at the moment. Keeping themselves together. To put the pressure on mid. And Newbee right back in the base, just giving Liquid this space to push in, knowing that at this moment in time they can't stop a full 5 push.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, are there any other big item pickups in the foreseeable future that could turn the tides for a fight for Newbee?
I'm not entirely sure if there's one item that's going to do it. It's more like KP needs a lot of items, like 2 more on top of what he has. And I mean, the same problem that we spoke about earlier is still kind of occurring. Like, Newbee don't have good ways of pushing out the wave. So if you can't push out the wave, then you can never really create moments where Liquid are isolated, because they feel like, okay, if we have all lanes pushed, we can kind of stick together, farm as a group, you know, walk through the jungle, go top, walk through the jungle, go mid, stuff like that. And then the Nyx and the Bat aren't really going to be able to reliably find pickoffs. When that happens, Newbee are feeling like, oh, our only wave player hero is Naga. That's it. Liquid have, I mean, even heck, the Kunkka farms the wave pretty well. So they have almost 5 heroes that have good wave player.
And Jarix, as we can see as well, just with the space and the time that the Liquid have with the amount of pressure and control they have on the map, he's closing in on the Aghanim Scepter. And we have seen many times before how devastating that can be for the opponent, especially when the team comes to pushing high ground. Liquid are going to be able to stay there, remain there. They can even send people back to base with the X-Mark if they need topping up. Yeah, with the Chakra, with the Illuminate, it's going to be so hard for Newbee to slow this one down. And
tower is under attack.
it's getting really hard to start to see the silver lining for Newbee. Maybe if they can find a kill, they'll jump onto Kuroki. Kuroki in trouble, but immediately do extra from mind control. Epicenter of both strike onto Kaka. It's going to be the 1-1 trade. How? He didn't quite make it. Fodder gets the arrow off after the rage, and how? He's got to run, he's got to hide, but there's hot on the case. Matuma Man coming in as well. How is going to lose his life by Liquid trying to fight back. It's not going to work. And Newbee may have been able to find the first kill of the game for themselves, but they end up losing 2. And it really is not a trade that they want to take. How going down again on the lifestealer.
It's been such a struggle for him. Ever since the beginning of the game, like his net worth is what you would expect, like maybe an offlaner to be at this stage in the game. So Moo's kind of reflective of what a normal offlane would be. I mean, even he hasn't had the best game. He's only been involved in their only kill, I should say. He's 14-1 right now, but yeah, it's still a struggle for Newbee. Their biggest issue is being behind with no wave clear and heroes that need to be able to gank is not a good combination, because in order to gank you need access to the enemy team side of the map, or you need to know where they are and be able to split them up. And you can't split them up if you can't clear the wave, because you never force them back. There's no reason for Liquid to leave their side of the map unless they feel like Newbee just smoke is fine. So this is a very precarious situation for Newbee here. It's only 23 minutes in, but you kind of just have that looming sense of Liquid needs to mess up. That's what needs to happen. And you can tell that Liquid understand their lineup very well, because they're not trying to kill Roshan. Trying to kill Roshan, I think, might be a bit of a mistake for them, because Newbee have a good team around the pit. Like just being able to lasso somebody, pull them on the cliff, Nyx getting a stun in there, Naga Siren Song. It's all very, very scary for them. So I think Liquid can delay it for as long as they like and just maintain map control, and then when they're so far ahead that they feel like there's no way they can possibly lose, then they can try to go for it.
And Liquid, of course, just being a team that's played at the caliber that we expect, it's very, very high level. It's the chances of them messing up, especially on a stage like this, they're not that high, are they? Something's going to have to go very wrong for Liquid to drop when they're this far ahead.
Yeah, it's not even just about how far ahead they are, it's with the lineup that they're far ahead with, and against what Newbee have when it's as far behind as it is. Because the Naga Siren illusions aren't tanky enough to push the wave reliably. And since every single hero on Liquid has some form of burst damage, they just kill the illusions too fast, and KP can't really create as much space as he would like. I mean, he's doing everything that he can, realistically. And up until this point, you know, he's only died twice, and he's still farming at a pretty decent rate. Like, he's up there with Fata, and he's up there with Matuma Man. But there's only so much one Naga Siren can do.
Absolutely, especially as we're seeing against the course of Liquid. Tron hanging around town bottom, but of course on his own. Rather unlikely that he can try and make a play. And Jerax, even himself, most of the Ags nearly built. It's not really a kill that Tron can go for, and in case it's certainly going to be that way. Unless he gets some backup, how? TP's into the lane. If Jerax comes up a little bit, how might see the chance to come down and follow through Tron's initiation? Yeah, Jerax, he's been a little bit too cheeky here. In comes out, and they will punish the Keeper of the Light. Jerax getting a little bit too greedy with his positioning there on his own down on the bottom lane.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to be able to finish up the Aghanims. So that's just a little bit of greed, which is, I mean, it's not a big deal. You kill the Keeper of the Light, the tier 1's already dead. You're not going to be able to really counter pressure anything. Liquid are at a stage where I don't even think that they need to back with one hero being dead. This really depends on if Newbee want to try to go somewhere in force and kind of get control of their jungle, because right now Matuma Man's just kind of chilling there with Fata, and they don't really have that much to fear.
No, and Matuma Man, he's found Moo, goes with the Remnant, but it's not quite enough damage. He will be able to flap his wings, get himself back to safety. But as we're seeing at this point, it's very hard for individual heroes at the side of Newbee to come out on the map without Liquid being there ready to jump on them and punish them. Still 14 for 2, 26 minutes in, heavy lead for Liquid. And the question is, of course, how, or if it's going to change when they do go for the high ground push. But as we're saying, there's not a lot of pressure on Liquid with the lineup that they have. Juan coming in with Hal. See if he can find a pick, but at the same time, if he goes in for a fight, Liquid will react. They have the full team down in their jungle.
They can't go for this. This is way too dangerous.
They do have the rest of Newbee coming in from the north. Juan's actually going to reveal himself, try and go for Kuroki, but immediately gets himself away. Moonlight goes one. Do they have detection? They don't know how. Just rages. TP's out. The X-Mark will be back. No! They managed to get How. He didn't manage to successfully escape. Chuan's down. How is looking for Kuroki, but he's not going to get it. Liquid there to back him up. Kuroki, can he toggle his way out? Oh! He's doing it! Kuro with the arm toggle! He's A-OK! A Newbee again losing 2 off the back of a bad initiation. And at this point, Andy, it just feels like frustration plays from Newbee.
It's desperation more than anything else. They understand how far behind they are, and they feel like they need to make a play. You know, you have this Nyx Assassin and this Bat Rider, and neither one of them have really been able to do much. So they go into an engagement where they have pretty much 0 vision. The Nyx walked around a little bit, but he didn't thoroughly scout the area, so he didn't realize how many Liquid members were actually there. And that's why I was saying it was too dangerous, because you're going in blind, more or less. When you kind of need to know how many heroes are going to be fighting before you fight them. And unfortunately for Newbee, they just feel way too pressured right now. They're throwing haymakers, more or less.
Now we can see here, I mean, just how, look at him. He wants that Kuroki. And it does take a fair while for Liquid to bring him down. But Kuroki, there's one. And there's going to be the second toggle there as well. There's another day in the office for Kuro as he walks it off.
That's the problem with being a lifestealer, is you have a very set attack speed at every stage in the game, so toggling those kind of auto attacks is just like, it's easy peasy, you know?
Kuroki, of course, with Hood picked up as well. Gonna get even harder for Newbee to take him down. It's not gonna put them off though, Chuan. Who's up here? Scan from Newbee, just checking potentially if anything was behind Kuroki.
Well, they did show bottom, so there's maybe a little bit of a better chance that they want to try to go for something.
Now they're gonna bring Kuroki away.
Okay, they're pulling him out, yeah. That's a good call. They don't really need to split up a whole lot right now. Although I mean, it is 16-2, but we also need to recognize the fact that breaking high ground for Liquid is going to be tough because they don't really have good heroes at hitting towers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess the best is what Fada. They do have obviously the sustain from the Keeper of the Light to keep them pushing in, but yeah, it's not going to be a quick siege for Liquid at this moment. Ooh, see if he could catch anyone out there. Immediate TP's out from Newbee. Move. Looks like he's just off the vision. He'll get away. Kaka. He's not going to be as lucky though. Mind control. Catches him out in the tree line. But Swimmerman comes in to seal the deal. Another kill for Liquid. As it just goes on and on and on. This lead that they've had since the very beginning of the game, it's just never been in Newbee's ballpark, this one. There's been a little bit of a turnaround when the game kind of slowed down. We're going to see it go on to Fada. Can he get himself out of this? He's got to leave it. The stun's too long. And Newbee, exactly what they needed. A lot of money going away for How from that kill.
Man, did they need that. That is one of the best, if not the best hero to kill at this point. I guess you could argue Ember is almost equal value at this stage. But yeah, that was absolutely necessary if Newbee want to stay in this game. They need to pick cores multiple times. You know, once you get one kill, it's kind of a bit easier to snowball because then the map starts to break up a bit and Liquid maybe decide, okay, let's go try to farm in our downtime. And that's another opening. You know, maybe Moo gets a lasso. Maybe they can turn it around step by step. But there's still a lot of work left to be done here for Newbee.
As we can see though, of course KP as well, the progression on this Naga Siren. It's been absolutely perfect for the Naga. On top of the net worth, 17k. The build going very, very well there. As we mentioned, Liquid do have ways to deal with it. But it certainly seems, you know, maybe it's starting to bite Liquid a bit back in the foot. The fact that they don't have ways of breaking the high ground. We may very well see this game get to a point where Newbee are able to swing it back around a little bit. But I can't expect to see Newbee just suddenly snap back and bring it right back over to the side of Liquid, because they themselves, they're going to be able to stop Newbee in turn pushing onto their high ground if it gets to that point. But we can certainly see this game begin to level out if the game continues at this pace.
Yeah, for sure. If Liquid fail a high ground push or fail a Roshan, you know, Newbee can bring the game back almost with one really, really good team fight. It might take two just to even the net worth difference and the experience, but the Naga Siren is getting closer and closer to that Octarine core. Once that happens, KP is going to be able to keep the lanes pushed out even more reliably, the lower cooldowns going. And Liquid, with their inability to really take Roshan that fast, that's really the thing I feel is hurting them the most, is they can't get an Aegis up on a hero and just hit the buildings. That's what they want to be able to do that, and they just can't with their heroes. I guess having the Aghanims on the Keeper of the Light might help a bit. But it is nighttime right now.
Liquid, maybe seeing if they could get a pick off around the Roche pit. He was in the neighborhood, as we can see as well. Move closing in on.
Not blame, but Newbee Man's actually going to get picked off.
Oh wow, Swan and How. I mean, this 1-2 combo, that was not expected. I mean, this has got to be worrying for Liquid in terms of wanting to push out the lanes with these split push heroes like the Ember Spirit.
Well, this is why I was mentioning that Nyx Assassin is like one of the absolute best heroes against Ember Spirit, because if you accidentally walk to a lane with Flame Guard, or you even have a Battle Fury and you don't turn your Flame Guard on, the Nyx can stand on the other side of the creeps and hit Carapace and you get stunned. And as soon as you get stunned, it's a free impale, Lifestealer feeding on you, you're dead. Ember does not build tank items. He builds all damage and a Blink Dagger. So a Lifestealer will shred you if he's able to just hit you.
Especially, yeah, with that death so complete on How. More chance to rip through the lineup of Liquid. And Liquid, I mean, with those kind of pickoffs happening, how do they avoid that? Is it just a case of getting better warding out on the map, or is it a case of Liquid going back to this form of sticking together as 5 and just being a little bit more careful when one of them goes out to farm?
The issue with sticking together as 5 at this point is that the Naga Siren actually has enough items to start pushing lanes now, and the more lanes that she can push, then that means that Liquid are going to want to try to have at least one hero away from the fight, or from the rest of the squad, and that's usually going to be Matumba Man, because Ember is one of the better team pushers they have. If it's not him, it's going to be Fata. So between those two, one of them is not going to be there. And if the Nyx Assassin manages to catch you with a Carapace into a stun, you could just very well die. And because like grouping up as 5 doesn't necessarily mean they're even going to be able to go high ground, they're kind of in the situation now where the Nagas come online and they're not able to get an Aegis and they can't hit tier 3s. Like this is a very, very big problem when you pick Ember, is most of the time you're really good at fighting and you can defend forever. Like if Newbee start walking into the base, you have double Sleight of Fist with a Chakra, it's going to be really hard for Newbee to break that high ground. They will eventually whittle it down just because of illusions. Liquid don't have that kind of utility. They just have one ranged core that can really attack the tier 3s.
A couple of big item pickups for the side Liquid in the form of Matumba Man, nearly finishing off the Daedalus, and Mind Control nearly with the Ags complete the Sanking. Quick defense, but Mind Control, he's going to be fine. He's X-marked up. There's a fair few of Newbee here. And immediately brought back.
Radiant's top tower has
and they'll turn this into a push on the bottom, maybe, Liquid. They're coming in heavy on the bottom. Newbee still up top, keeping some back. Maybe ready to try and go. For the moment, just move backed up. The rest of the TP starting to follow through on Newbee. Liquid hanging around for this.
With the Keeper Aghanims, I think it's a good call to try to group up and do this, because they realized what they were doing is not working. They were getting heroes picked off and giving a Newbee a way back into the game. So I think this is the right call.
As we can see, just for Kuroki's Tide, bringing the Sleight Fist from Matumba Man that can clear out the waves that come out. At the same time, How? Realizing that at the moment he's not needed back at base. He's going to keep the pressure on. There will be a TP coming down from Matumba Man. Just going to quickly slide the wave and push it back, but How claims himself the tower. TP's out. So gets the objective done. Liquid certainly struggling with this push, and it's only going to get harder now that How's been brought back to the defensive.
What they can do is they can just joust the base over and over again, just keep using Illuminate to heal everyone up and just get little bits of damage. And because of the fact that everyone on the side of Newbee is sitting inside of the base, it's not like they're getting anything more out of the situation. They're just watching their tier 3 slowly die. And that's still an advantage for Liquid.
Let's see. Arrow coming through, the jump in, onto Move, posted range speed, tries to react, looking to take out bottom, but he leaps out of the base. Move, he's going to keep himself alive with the BKB. Kuroki left alone on the front lines though. Newbee will be able to punish that. The slide through from Matumba, not enough damage, and KP with the song. Newbee's coming in, they're a bit riled. The Liquid are trying to break the base, jumping out. They'll get themselves down to the south. Liquid on the retreat. We'll see if KP can get a latch with the net. He's got the gem, he's got the vision, Mind Control, taken down as well. And Newbee with the defense, and Liquid, I can't help but feel, Andy, this is really going to throw them off their momentum if this continues to happen. Sitting outside the base as 5, trying to push in, but Newbee able to stop you, moving into Roshan. They're going to be able to take the Aegis. Liquid maybe slowly falling apart.
That was the opening that Newbee needed to, like, after that defense, even though they only killed 2 heroes, securing the Roshan, this is a huge win for Newbee. Now all of a sudden, you know, KP's net worth, he's like almost 1 full item higher than the next person on the list. He's going to be able to push out the lanes a lot easier. The deep push from Liquid, it's becoming less effective just because of how much tankier the illusions are. And once again, showcasing that even if you're winning and you're keeping all the lanes pushed, you still need to be able to break base. I think Liquid might be kicking themselves right now for not just grouping up right away as soon as the Keeper of the Light got Aghanim's, because they had such an advantage at that point, but they waited until KP farmed like 1 extra item on top of it, and I think that when you get the Aghanim's as Liquid's lineup, that's the let's go point, that we need to end the game right now. So instead of doing that, they split up. They get heroes picked off. It gives Newbee an opportunity to get more items. You know, that 1 kill that Hao got on Fata was like 1,000 gold. Like, that's the kind of stuff that brings Newbee back into the game, and I think that Liquid just misexecuted a tiny bit with their game plan.
And as we can see with these plays and these defenses from Newbee, do you think there's a part of the side when they went into the draft that realized that the beginning of the game was going to be a bit tough and they'd always planned to be able to kind of calm it down and bring it back round?
Well, they might have had some idea that it was going to be tough, but not as tough as it was. Like, Liquid were just crushing them for the beginning of the game. And I just think that Newbee relied on their heroes just kind of countering what Liquid wanted to do, especially towards like the mid-late game. Living life on the edge.
Certainly needs to be careful with the full 5-mana Liquid here. Newbee, they are here in quite strong force as well. Have all the ultimates available. They don't want to try and jump move. Goes in with the lasso. Liquid, they usually some of the reaction. Moonlight comes down, but they've got the vision. The slide coming down onto the move. Pops the BKB. Gets himself onto the sidelines. Now focusing mind control. Takes down the Sand King. Can they get themselves anything more here? Liquid trying to retreat. Kuroki moving to get themselves down at the tree line. Matumbaman out in place by the disruption. See if they can follow through with any kind of stun. If they've fought him, then KP can't quite do it though. Matumbaman still alive. He's going to get brought back to base. Will be saved. Only just, but again, Newbee coming out of these engagements on top. It is just the 1 kill, but this has got to be continually just more worrying for the side of Liquid that they're losing fights when they had the lead that they did in the early game.
Now, there's another problem too right now for Liquid is the fact that they can't kill the Lifestealer. So whenever he pops Rage and he has that vessel that he just infests into and jumps on a target, there is absolutely nothing that Liquid can do outside of throwing a boat to save him. Like, I don't really think anyone... Okay, there's a couple of force stats, but more often than not, if he gets on a target, he's going to kill him. He has the SOI, he has the phase, he runs extremely fast. And I think they're very good about how they put their disables on the hero the Lifestealer is going for, so their teamfight coordination is also on point. That was one of the big reasons why I actually favor their draft, is because when the Lifestealer gets on somebody and there's 1 disable, the hero should pretty much just be dead. And there's not really anything that Liquid can do about it. But now, a little bit further behind now, Liquid. And the problem now is because since the lanes are pushed, you know, we talked about everyone like splitting up all over the map because that's what happens when your lanes get pushed. You have to go deep with them. This is the kind of gameplay that Newbee want. They want you to split up. They want the Nyx and the Batrider to be able to find pickoffs. And Liquid now have this kind of situation where they need to decide, okay, can we push all the lanes? Can we push only 2? And then hope that we can find some kind of fight.
And this is... It really has been just KP as well, just keeping his composure. And all the lanes crumbling around him at the start, but top of the board, he's played absolutely perfectly, avoiding being caught out by the side of Liquid. I mean, the thing I'm happy about, Andy, is we're seeing a game. It's going to potentially go late. And there's an Ember on the back foot. He's stocking up the gold. We could see a Rapier on Matumbaman this match.
It's very possible. I think Keeper of the Light is one of the best pairings with Ember as well. Having the double sleight of fist with the Chakra Magic is always really nice.
Indeed, again with this smoke into the jungle, but at the same time, Liquid, they move out themselves. So both avoiding each other, but this is going to mean that Newbee will have the high ground of Liquid back up, but Liquid, they're going to continue to move around. The line's being drawn by Kuro. They want to do a sweep of the jungle of Newbee. Neither team will catch each other out with this movement.
It should be fairly obvious to Newbee that something's going on, and they look like they just anticipated there might have been a smoke. And they're not really scared of taking a 5 versus 5 engagement. They know their Lifestealer is extremely tanky right now. And if worst scenario happens, they can just go ahead and pop Song.
And we have it at tier 2 now. Carter coming across into the cover of Moonlight though, and Newbee will be happy with the objective and back on. I'm sure they'll be very happy with the state that they've managed to bring this game back round to. I mean, I don't know if we can have a look at the net worth graph, but yeah, it's gone straight back round past 0. It has got to that point. As we said, you know, if Liquid mess up, Newbee, they're going to be able to stabilize the game.
This is why all the panelists favored Newbee's draft, because if it gets to this point, it's very difficult for Liquid. They don't really have the tools that they need to be able to breach the high ground. They can't kill the Lifestealer. The Naga Siren's getting way too out of control in regards to farm. They just had a very, very solid early game, and you can't really ask for any better execution than just almost shutting out Newbee for a good stage of it. Problem is, you have to eventually be able to break base.
He's got to be drawn. Oh. That was a heavy load on that courier. Potter's going to jump forward looking for Tron, but he turns around. Potter from chasing Kaka. He will be left behind. Liquid will punish him. But the presence of the two of them there, allowing them to get that kill on the courier.
And just look at the warding as well from Newbee. They used that smoke the time they had over on Liquid's side of the map to make sure they had plenty of vision. So whenever Liquid are backing up and dealing with the Naga Siren illusions, they'll have pretty much all the information they need to be able to go for the pickoffs. Nice rage. Very nicely done there from now.
So there's nothing that Liquid can do through that. They've got a lot of stuns and a lot of control, but piercing magic immunity is not something that Liquid's lineup excels on.
Oh god, no. Their heroes just can't do anything to Lifestealer. I mean, they need the Ember Spirit pretty much to get a really lucky crit or buy a Rapier and hope that he's standing on top of like Naga Siren's army of illusions with a Shadow Demon. That's how they kill him, pretty much. Because there's no way Matuma Man's just going to sit there and auto-attack. You just die.
And in terms of the lifesteal as well, it's quite refreshing to see because it feels like we've seen it quite a few times here at TI in just scenarios where it doesn't work. But this game, this lineup, the lifestealer pick, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's a hero that he's very counterable, but if you pick him at the right time, with the right lineup, he can still be devastating. And this is one of those situations where that is most certainly true.
You can see Newbee ready to get on the aggressive, immediately jumping though. In, Matuma Man pops the BKB. At the same time, though, How on the sidelines with the help of Moo takes down the keeper of the line. Now moving in for more, eyeing up Kuroki. How being careful as the bridges come off. Still Moo forcing Kuroki back on the back lines though. Matuma Man, remnants up. They're looking for the lockdown. They've got me out of luck, and a big kill for Newbee. Matuma Man down. 80 seconds on the sidelines. Does have a buyback available. We'll see if Newbee are able to force it out of him. 44 minutes in, this game gone entirely on its head. And Newbee really the ones with the advantage here, and we'll see their high ground push, and it's certainly going to be a lot stronger than Liquid were able to offer against them earlier on.
Without the Ember Spirit, they just can't deal with the push. Like, all How has to do is walk up the hill and hit Rage, and realistically, they can't.
And the illusions, of course, is this illusion-based push that's so hard to stop. They'll get the jump in, How, torrented as well. They'll get the two of them out, the boat coming through, but How gets the rage off. Restore Kuroki. Kuroki rips the shred. The Admiral goes down with the ship. And as you can hear, the crowd understandably very impressed with the way that Newbee's played this game. They were put right on the back foot. They brought it right round, and they will clear out the mid lane of Rax here. But Matuma Man decides to hold on to his buyback. They'll let the Rax go. How now with a Daedalus. Newbee there, looking for more. Immediately moving around to the bottom lane. Still 30 seconds without Kuroki. They're going to have Matuma Man back up. Liquid. Ooh, line control, not quite long enough. Can't get the clip on. Looks like Newbee will offer a little bit of mercy now. They'll back up. As we can see this graph, it's absolutely devastating for Liquid. Butterflies picked up by KP.
I think it just goes to show how fragile Liquid's lineup actually is.
And Axon Nyx Assassin.
This is a nightmare to deal with. Like, this in my opinion is like the best Aghanims in the game, like bar none. Having the Shoulder Impale cooldown with like doubles or triples of range, something ridiculous like that. Same thing for Mana Burn. And the best part about it is being able to burrow and just pop Spike Carapace and just hit any hero that's in the vicinity. That way it doesn't require you actually being hit. That part about it is just so good. But I really love the Nyx pick in general. I thought that was one of the best heroes they could have hit against Liquid's lineup. And Newbee now feeling very confident, in control. Roshan's going to be up in about 1 minute and 20 seconds. And Liquid, if they can't make something happen between that time, I'd say the Newbie might just walk away with this game.
This could be a helpful rune up top for Liquid. DD picked up by Matumba Man. Same time the Newbie, they're going to smoke up, ready for a bit of a clash. Looking to wrap around from the high ground of Liquid side of the map. Moo on the lead with How inside, and we'll see who he catches out first. Farla looking to clean up the wave, but Newbee jump in. Oh, he'll get the PKP off with the lasso there. The damage will be more than enough to follow through. Farla down, but Matumba Man coming over the BKB. Can he do anything in return? Hacker brought out by the turret, mind control, epicenter onto How. Pulling low, the Rages looking to take down Kroki, just falls back by the blinding light. KP, looking to start him off, somebody's still down. He pops amongst it all. How's gone, and it's mind control again with a burrow strike. Liquid looking to take this round. Tron tries to bury himself, but they'll bury him even deeper. 6 feet under. 3 down on Newbee. Still, KP sticking around in the fight. He's got a lot of health. He's incredibly tanky. They can't kill the Naga Siren. So Liquid just trying to get themselves out. After taking 3, only losing 2. In the position that Liquid are in, it's a trade they'll be happy with, but Newbee, they certainly are. They want to try and find more. Moving in onto mind control. Jumping forward. They'll take the Sand King as well. Newbee making sure they secure themselves, stopping them on the fight, but the Timberman coming in. He wants to try and look for the star play that the team needs. Jumping into move, but the last one's back. KP is surrounded. There's a target. The takes 1 down. KP left alone. Can they kill him? I mean, Matumba Man, he can only just run and blink into the trees. He's got to get himself out. KP looking to cut him
into the creep wave.
Matumba Man realizes, though, that the Duke out into the trees and heading back. At the same time, there's a Shadow Demon closing in for the top. The shot can't quite get him. Matumba Man blinking just out of range. But the plays from both sides starting to come out here.
The big thing about that fight in middle lane was that Matumba Man had a DD, so he got like 2 crits with a sleight of fist and just annihilated Newbee. I think he almost one-shot the Shadow Demon. That was a very unfortunate thing for Newbee, but great for Liquid.
I'm looking at Matumba Man. I'm seeing an Ember Spirit that's only 300 gold away from Rapier territory.
I honestly think...
Does he go all in?
I think you kind of have to at this point. It's either that or an MKB. But the problem with MKB is it's good against the Naga Siren because it's a Butterfly and a Radiance, and you want to be able to reliably hit the illusions. But I still feel like one of their main concerns is still that Lifestealer. So you're not going to have like the raw damage up it that you need to kill him, but you would be able to wave clear the illusions a lot more effectively if you had MKB.
Liquid actually choosing to come out of the base.
Well, they need to. Like, this Roshan is so important.
Songs up though for Newbee. They've got the tools available to fight around it. You can see the warning from Liquid, giving them a very clear vision around this area of the map. And move into the pit, start to work away at Roshan. And Newbee already hot on the case, heading down the bottom lane. They're going to look to wrap around from the riverside, or maybe even from the high ground of Liquid's jungle. It's down to half.
Did they actually not know?
Are they not looking? They're sweeping the jungle, and indeed Newbee at the moment, they're not moving towards the pit at all. It's Liquid. They may just get away with this play. And it looks like they will. They'll take it. And Newbee, they'll come in now, but if it's too late, Aegis is already being picked up on Matumba Man. Matumba Man gets himself up to the high ground, trying to get himself back, coming back with a sleight of fist. Kuroki taken down, the first casualty of this fight. See if Newbee can get the flip onto anyone else. Farla allowing people to retreat with a Moonlight Shadow. Most of them out there. Mind Control burrows away. The song comes out, but it's only going to catch Mind Control. They do take down the SK, kept the gem. But Liquid, they keep 3 alive. They took Roshan, took the Aegis. And Matumba Man, that courier's on a delivery. And it looks like Rapier should be hopefully on the menu. And it is. It's coming out now. The big guns for Matumba Man. Rapier, Aegis, we got ourselves a defense.
Now the problem is he actually needs to be here with the Rapier.
And needs to speed up that delivery process. Get it out. And indeed, as we can see, Newbee hitting down on the racks. But remember, at this point in the game, it's just the middle racks that are down. They've still got 2 lanes of racks of Liquid. Let's have a look. Check out these deeps. Matumba Man jumping in to slide as well. How? Ooh, pulling incredibly low here. Jumping forward, gets himself in Tron. Him up. Move. The lasso onto Farla. Matumba Man still going to remain on the sidelines. Have the slide of fist spam. And Liquid are going to be okay with this. They hold the defense. Get everyone out. Newbee, though, they will retreat. No one will be punished. But this is the point where the game is on, Andy.
That was a 1300 damage crit on the Howl, by the way. That was some insane damage. If they had even just a little bit more, they might have been able to take him down. And that would have been a big opportunity because he's about to finish his AC. He's got the Hyperstone in his inventory already. He's only a few hundred gold away from having the completed item. And he's going to mitigate a lot more of that damage now, so you're not going to get many more opportunities to chunk him like that.
You see how aggressive they could go with this Moonlight. Newbee. Everyone's up, but you can see they're hugging the tier 3s at the moment.
Well, he did reveal himself, so Catapult hit him.
No one's going to be coming out from the side of Newbee. I mean, Liquid, obviously with this newfound Rapier and the Aegis, is this the time for them to go and try for a push? Do they just have to wait for Newbee, but at the same time, will Newbee hold back their push until the Aegis times out?
It's really hard to say. The whole thing about Rapier on the Ember Spirit is that you can defend for almost an indefinite amount of time, assuming that you have the Keeper of the Light, like spamming Chakra on you, but fighting in the open is much more hectic. There's not a guarantee that you're going to get good Sleight of Fist because you're not funneling like all these creeps and heroes through one small choke point. It can be a very disjointed and chaotic fight for Liquid if they want to do it outside of the base. I mean, now would potentially be the best time because they have Aegis on Matumba Man. And maybe they're feeling uncomfortable letting Newbee get to their base again.
Until he gets the jump, and move, coming across. And he's got a how in him impact. Manages to get the catch of the mind control. Mind just got bites back immediately. Realize he's going to be needed to fight. Slide coming out from Matumba. And do the setup here. Can they find the follow-up? And Matumba Man's going to be able to walk it off. Wounds are out. He's in a lot of trouble. The Aegis will be blocked. The same time, he sends a boat back in, trying to hold Newbee out. How? In the middle of it all, though, gets the rage, and Matumba Man again being controlled for the time being. Remembers himself over, they've lost Kuroki. How chasing down Fada. Going to be buyback for Kuroki, trying. Sending him Matumba Man. Matumba Man needs to get himself out one reason. He can't go down. It's done. No buyback available on the Ember Spirit here. Liquid with an incredibly painful loss in this fight. How? He's gonna be fine! Kuroki's down! Mind control as well! Fine, the last man surviving! He's taken two! He's gonna be up at the buybacks from How and Tuan. They realize this is the time to finish up the game. And it may all be over here in game 1 for Liquid. They tried to pull it back, but look at the financial damage and GG indeed. Liquid with the early game dominance for Newbee. They controlled the game perfectly. They brought it back round into their realm. And at the end of the day, as flashy as the Divine Rapier pickup was, it wasn't enough for the side of Liquid to bring it back. Newbee just playing on another level at the end of that game.
Well, the panelists obviously favored Newbee's draft a little bit. I was on their side, but Liquid had a very strong performance for the first 15 to 20 minutes of that game. They were just completely shutting down Newbee. And then after a couple of pickoffs, I think Fata was one of the most important ones.